From Nikki Rimmel portraying the complex character of Georgia to Abby Ross perfectly portraying young Emma's troubled past, here are 10 perfectly cast younger versions of TV characters. Starting with Jayden Gyron's portrayal of young Cece Perret in New Girl. Gyron appeared in a flashback episode titled Models during the show's 5th season, in which she played a younger version of the character who's played by Hannah Simone in the present-day scenes. In the episode, we see a teenage Cece struggling with her identity and trying to find her place in the world. Gyron's performance perfectly captures Cece's determination to break free from the expectations of her traditional Indian family. This also allowed us to understand more about how her experiences shaped her into the strong, independent woman we see in the present day. Along with great performances, these young actors also have amazing chemistry with the rest of the cast, which was the case with Sammy Hanratty, who played the younger version of Misty in the Showtime series Yellow Jackets. Misty is a member of a high school girls' soccer team that crashes in the wilderness on their way to a championship game. The show flashes back and forth between the present day, where the surviving members of the team are dealing with the aftermath of their ordeal, and the past, where we see how the girls survived in the wilderness for over a year. She perfectly captures the character's rebellious, tough-as-nails attitude, as well as her vulnerability and fear. In flashbacks, we see Misty dealing with a difficult life at home, and it's clear that her experiences in the wilderness have a profound impact on her life. Hanratty's performance is powerful, and it's clear that she's fully invested in the role. Her chemistry with the rest of the young cast is fantastic, and she manages to hold her own alongside some very talented actresses. And, just like her, we have Nikki Rimmel, a relatively new face in the entertainment industry, playing teenage Georgia in Ginny and Georgia. Rimmel is of Greek descent and grew up in a bilingual household. She began acting at a young age and attended acting classes to hone her skills. In Ginny and Georgia, she plays the teenage version of Georgia, a complex and multifaceted character who has a troubled past and a complex relationship with her daughter, Ginny. Rimmel's performance has been praised by critics and audiences alike for her ability to capture the character's intensity and charm. And it isn't easy portraying such a complex character so well, which made both Rimmel's performance and Kira Adler's portrayal of young Cassie Howard in Euphoria even more impressive. In the show's 2nd episode, we see a flashback to Cassie's childhood, where we see her struggling to find her place in the world and dealing with the pressure of her mother's high expectations. Adler perfectly captures Cassie's vulnerability and sensitivity in every scene. Her performance is so authentic that it's hard to believe she's not the same person as Sydney Sweeney, who plays the teenage version of Cassie. Her delivery of lines and physical mannerisms perfectly mirror Sweeney's, making the transition between the two ages of Cassie completely seamless. If this gives you goosebumps, then you'll be even more impressed with Hannah Zeal's portrayal of teenage Kate in This Is Us. She captured the character's insecurities, self-doubt, and emotional struggles with great authenticity, and her performance was both heartbreaking and inspiring. Zeal's portrayal of Kate allowed us to see how the character became the person we know in the present-day scenes. She captured the character's struggle with her weight and the presence she faced growing up as the daughter of Jack and Rebecca Pearson. Zeal also had great chemistry with the rest of the cast, especially with her on-screen brother, Kevin. And these young actors are so multifaceted that they can even phenomenally portray roles in fictional shows, just like how young Sabrina Spellman was played by the talented McKenna Grace in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, who did an incredible job bringing the character to life. She perfectly captured the essence of young Sabrina, who's a bright, curious, and determined young witch. From the very first moment we see her on screen, she exudes a sense of power and wonder that is truly captivating. She managed to portray Sabrina's fierce spirit and determination, as well as her vulnerability and sense of isolation. Grace's performance was particularly impressive considering the show's darker tone, as she had to balance the character's whimsical and curious nature with the show's more macabre elements. Just like Bailey Madison managed to portray the younger version of Snow White in Once Upon a Time. Her performance was nothing short of perfect in flashbacks throughout the series. She captured the character's kindness, bravery, and sense of adventure with great authenticity. And her chemistry with Ginnifer Goodwin was fantastic. One of the standout episodes featuring Madison was The Stable Boy from Season 1. In this episode, we see a young Snow White interact with a young Regina, long before they became Snow White and the Evil Queen. Her portrayal in this episode was particularly impressive, as she captured the character's innocence and optimism, while also showing hints of the strength and courage that would make her a great leader in the future. And I think the producers of the show were onto something, because they even managed great casting for the role of teenage Emma. Abby Ross's portrayal of young Emma was a standout performance on the show. She captured the character's rebellious spirit and her vulnerability with great authenticity, and her chemistry with the rest of the cast was fantastic. Ross managed to convey the complex emotions that Emma was going through as a teenager, from her anger and frustration to her deep-seated longing for love and acceptance. She had a natural ease and grace that made it seem like she'd been playing Emma for years, even though she was only in a few episodes. Ross was able to convey the same intensity and charisma that Jennifer Morrison brought to the role, which made her performance all the more impressive. Fiction aside, we can even appreciate how John Green's actors were brought to life. Hannah Allagood's portrayal of young Margot in Paper Towns was absolutely perfect. She captured the character's free-spirited personality, her sense of adventure, and her complicated relationships with others. Even the physical appearance, from the shape of the nose to the eyebrows, was uncanny. Allagood's performance was a standout in the film, and it's no surprise that she has gone on to do great things since then. Her chemistry with the rest of the cast, including Nat Wolff as Quentin, was fantastic. In particular, Allagood's portrayal of the scene where Margot and Quentin break into SeaWorld was incredible. She perfectly captured the character's excitement and sense of rebellion, and her performance made the scene one of the most memorable in the film. And this last one was for all of you Game of Thrones fans. Emily Carey's portrayal of young Alicent Hightower in the HBO series House of the Dragon deserves a standing ovation for sure. The show focuses on the Targaryen family's rise to power. Alicent Hightower is a key character in the show, and Carey brings her to life with great authenticity and skill. From the moment she appears on screen, she commands attention. She perfectly captures Alicent's ambition, cunningness, and desire for power. Despite her young age, Carey's performance is nuanced and mature, and she holds her own alongside the show's established cast. What's particularly impressive about her portrayal is how she manages to convey the complexity of Alicent's character. She's not simply a villain or a hero. She's a complex figure with a range of motivations and desires. Carey manages to capture all of this with great skill, making Alicent one of the most interesting characters on the show. That's it for all the perfectly cast younger actors for today.